Fiberglass.
And, oh, I see, fiberglass. And does it bother your vision, or what are the drawbacks to it?
Well, so far it's been all right, but I've played one in practices.
I didn't dislike them, but I didn't like when the Montreal Canadiens beat you, especially at home, it'd be 5-1 or 6-2 or something, and Jacques would always take the gold stick and go like this after the game, just sort of rub it in. If I had the chance, I'd say, well, you were great, Jacques. You had 5 shots tonight.
The moment that changed the face of a game forever was no accident of history. It was payback. Jacques Plante, hockey's first wandering goalie, messed with the wrong guy.
The puck was dumped in, and it wasn't a hard shot. I thought I could beat him to the puck, but all this is happening in split seconds. And Jacques come out the right side, and he saw that I was coming. I was right on him, and he turned around when he saw me, and he gave me a poke check, and I went headfirst into the boards. I wasn't prepared for that, and my head was like right straight on, and I got it turned enough that I cut my ear, and I cut my face a little bit. What he did to me was not called for. I thought, how do you show him, hey, big boy, you got to even things up here. If you're going to play that game, I better straighten it out.
A few short weeks later, Bathgate had a shot at revenge and took it.
When I had the chance, I come down the left wing, and Jacques used to sort of sit with his ass in the net and his head sticking out, ready to go across. I just give him a fairly good wrist shot, and I was trying to hit him somewhere where he would remember me, and boom, I nailed him. It wasn't a hard shot. If I had really wanted to shoot it hard, I could have broken his jaw, but he bled good. He only got cut for maybe 8 stitches or something.
21 minutes later, after winning a standoff with Coach Toe Blake, Plante returned as a masked man for the first time.
And he had to go to his own dressing room, and then all of a sudden he come out with this mask on. And we all looked at each other and said, what is this?
Jacques Plante and Andy Bathgate couldn't have known the far-reaching impact of that night. But they did know this much: there were no hard feelings.
Jacques, you know what you did to me. You could have ended my career, and I just wanted you to know I was evening it up, and he said, I know, it's all in the game. It's all in the game.
Fascinating stuff. Bathgate also says it's the only time in his long, terrific hockey career that he aimed at someone's head, and he still regrets it. Our analyst Darren Pang played in the day when a mask wasn't necessarily an art form, but he sure knows its safety value. Never more than on December 19th, 1987, when Russ Courtnall almost beheaded Panger.
Courtnall in, winds up, shoots. Oh, and it hit Pang right in the face. And Courtnall can really rip the shot.
I think he also surprised Pang getting up high. But
he is shaking it off. I think he's going to stay in. What a gritty performer.
Yeah, would have hit most goaltenders in the chest. We have to remember that. Panger was a gamer, and so was the guy you're about to watch him interview. Gerry Cheevers played without a mask, and then when he finally put one on, it became one of the most recognizable pieces of hockey history. Here are the two tenders, Panger and Cheevers.
Join now Gerry Cheevers, one of the all-time great goaltenders in the National Hockey League, and you're a guy that got hit in the mask a lot of times and hit in the face a lot of times. We welcome you here to talk about the 50th anniversary of Jacques Plante donning the mask.
Well, hopefully someone else would have decided to put a mask on after Jacques if he didn't do it 50 years ago. But it was the greatest thing in the world for goaltenders.
Gerry Cheevers is in goal for Boston. All set.
I never got cut in junior. My whole career.
Without a mask.
Without a mask. Never got cut. I was very intelligent in how I got out of the way. I was very good at that. And my first week at Leaf training camp, I got like 5 over the eye. And then I put the big plastic shield on, you know, and fogged up every 5 minutes and all that. And I just, when you think back on it, how did you play without a mask?
When you put the stitches on your mask, tell us a little bit about Frosty and how that actually happened.
Every day I went into practice, I had 2 things in my mind. One was to get out of practice. And if I couldn't do that, I was thinking, how can I decorate my mask? So I'm in there one morning, and it wasn't a very good morning, and the puck flipped up, and it wouldn't have cut me if I didn't have my mask on. But I fainted like I was quite hurt, and Harry Sinden was coaching. He says, get your butt out there, you're not even hurt. So before I went out, Frosty happened to be there, John Forsall, our trainer, who was quite a character, and he says, hold it. And he runs and he gets a magic marker and he paints like a 12-stitch cut over my eye. And so I got out there and everyone got a giggle out of it. And I says, Frosty, that's a pretty good idea. Why don't we try and keep track of it? We embellished it a lot, but every time the puck would flip up, he'd go paint 6 stitches here and that. Believe me, I wouldn't have had him if I didn't have the mask on.
What was the worst injury that you faced? Puck right in the melon, as they say.
The night my first child was born, my wife was in her 6.5 month of pregnancy, weighed 3 pounds, and we were on the road, and we got back at 2, and she was in labor. I never slept that night. We played in Rochester at Red Berenson's backhand. I missed it by 2 feet, knocked 8 teeth out, and I got 50 stitches, and continued the game. And the only thought I ever had of Mary Mass was when I got picked up by Boston, and I said, if I'm going to play in the NHL, I better get a mask.
Panther Judy drives one. Bobby Hull.
So there were a lot of guys that fired the puck really hard, a lot of wicked guys, and Bobby Hull tells a great story about when he's in that windup, and you didn't quite end up in the net, did you?
My story of that is, well, I'll tell you the story is, the puck comes and it was rolling, and Bobby was in a backswing that if it was a golf ball would have been 350 down, right? And I looked at it, and I'm looking at the scoreboard, and I'm watching the arm go up, and I said, what if I stop this? It's no big deal. I mean, instead of, it'll remain 7-2, right? And I says, no, it's not worth it, right? So he looked up, he had the whole net, I had drifted out, and my story was I just misread the play.
2 Stanley Cups, Hall of Famer, and one of the winningest goaltenders of all time.
Right, thanks, Dutch.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
And that's still my all-time favorite mask. We always talk about Jacques Plante, the first guy to wear a mask. We sometimes forget the last guy to play without one. His name was Andy Brown, who faced up to every challenge during his career without a mask. He was the last goalie to go barefaced in the NHL, playing a combined 62 games for Detroit and Pittsburgh. The last of them was with the Penguins, a 6-3 loss to Atlanta, April 7th, 1974. It marked the end of an era. Brown would play 3 more maskless years in the WHA, but no goalie has ever played without a mask in the NHL since Brown. Bizarro fact from the NHL rulebook, Bob McKenzie, is masks are optional for goaltenders?
Well, technically speaking, the rulebook sort of says that. Rule 11.7, masks. Protective masks of a design approved by the league may be worn by goalkeepers. Maybe. There we go. I may put my mask on tonight.
Yeah.
I may not put my mask on. But then you go to rule number 9.5, and that's the one where play is basically stopped if the goaltender's mask comes off. So technically the rule book kind of says, yeah, you don't absolutely have to, because it does say you absolutely must wear a helmet. It doesn't say you absolutely must wear a mask, but if you don't have one on, they're going to blow the whistle. So.